Hello to my cancers. All right, cancers, let's get it. All right, let's see what's going on in your reading. Let's see what's going on in your cards. Cancers, let's do it. Let's see what's in your cards, cancers. Let us see. Let us see. Let us see, cancers. Let's go. See what's in your cards. In your previous reading, we talked a little bit about chakras and auras, right? So you want to look at your auric layer. So if you're new to my reading, you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading. General reading. Rose-colored glasses are coming off for everybody. Rose-colored glasses. We have a pink moon. Pink moons are about rose-colored glasses, right? So what you may have, kind of sort of thought, we all know what the term rose-colored glasses, where they came from. The meaning of it. Overly optimistic, about something, right? A lot of people are overly optimistic about people to a point where it almost comes across as like, like you wishing the best, like you hoping that, okay, if I pray, if I'm a good person and they're gonna be good to me, or if I pray for somebody, will pray back for you, and they could be praying for your downfall. And so source is saying, so optimistic, focusing only on the positive aspect and ignoring the negatives in energies. Ignoring the negative when there has to be balance. That's realistic. That's more realistic of just saying, okay, you know what, realistically, hey, if you can forgive people, pray for people, and keep it moving. Keep it moving forward, right? So let's see what's gonna come out of your cards. Let's see what's coming out of your cards. All right, let's see what's in your cards. I am a magnet for harmonious, peaceful, healed relationships. That's right, say it. I am a magnet for harmonious, peaceful, healed relationships. That is very important moving forward, right? Because a lot of people are waking up to, maybe you were just overly, optimistic when it came to, because you all are really a sweetheart sign, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. You can go back and watch previous videos, but you all are really a sweetheart sign, and water is reflective. And so I feel like, because a lot of you all may spend a lot of time in the house as homebodies, or you may be loners, maybe spending time around water and not even realizing that you're actually doing a spiritual cleansing. Every time you spend time alone and you're like out in that sun is a big medicine ball. So it actually cleanses, just like when I talk about cleansing gemstones and crystals. Grounding is another way of recharging and resetting and cleansing, taking spiritual showers and spiritual baths. So it's almost like a person who is almost, like I said, walking through life through rose-colored lenses, not wanting to see certain things, in people. But you're only somewhat familiar with, like you will pick out the good, right? So source is saying, no, it's time for you to balance it out. It's time for you to balance it out. These are these family members, friends, whomever, they could be related to certain people, but don't really know them. Really not even picking up on certain things and how they really feel about you and who they're aligning themselves with, right? They spending a whole lot of time around certain energies and what they're into, what kind of stuff they're into. But rose-colored glasses are going to come off everybody's face. It's going to come off everybody's face this cycle. It's going to come off everybody's face this cycle. So you have to decide if it's going to come off your face, it's going to be a shocker, or if it's going to finally just be that thing that you just needed to see for you to say, okay. In either case, you're going to make some decisions. In either case. And so somebody's making a decision that you are a magnet for harmonious, peaceful, healed relationships. No more of that. People still holding on to that mess and won't heal. Yeah, so 833, long game. This is a journey. Your angels are encouraging you to have faith in divine timing. So the new balanced habits you formed are not temporary. And so they are meant to be implemented for the rest of your journey on this earth plane. So reflect now how your mindset can shift to better accommodate your new routines. So let go of any timelines you may have had that is not attached to the better habits that you've gained recently. There you go. Things will play out as they should. There you go. There you go. I love this for you. This is starting off with the solar plexus chakra. We talked about solar plexus chakra. So something has taken a long time, for some people, for you all, Cancer, for you all to realize that, wow, as kind-hearted as you all are as a zodiac sign, some people get too much pleasure in staying in karmic cycles with other people. And it's two energies that you still are talking to. They just get too much pleasure staying around misery who loves company. They get too much pleasure in that. And so it's time for you to get focused. It's time for you to get focused, because they could be your in-laws. They could be friends. It could be anybody who you feel like you're focused, you're laser focused, you're positive, you're high vibrational, you like being around talking to energies where you feel like you can levitate, where you feel like you have a hope, and it's giving you like this new sense of confidence, just like I said, high vibrational. And you're talking to certain people and all they can talk about is what they're familiar with in a negative sense about people. After a while, that just gets to be tired. It gets to be just exhausting after a while. It's like every time you mention certain people's name, well, I know their family and their family said this about them, or I knew somebody they used to date. They always got the latest dirt or gossip about somebody instead of something positive and high vibrational. But they want people to see that they have changed. So Source is saying it may be time to take off the rose-colored glasses. Maybe time to take off the rose-colored glasses and wake up and realize it is contaminating your water. Or maybe just some time. It's some time to leave some energies behind. So somebody's going to be making some major changes. Major changes. Because some energies have just been, because they want to see you miserable too. When I say misery loves company, anything these energies can do to see you sad, hurt, broke, busted, and disgusted, they'll do it. So let's get into your reading. Yeah, so it's time to close out some cycles in love. 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Wands here. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands. Something is closed out because you're on top of everything. So some information may actually come to you to let you know that something has been closed out because you're on top of some things. I just feel like, this is the year of 9, and so many people there's so many people who have evolved, like spiritually, who have evolved. There's not a whole lot of the separatism. It's more like, they want to know and they want to learn, even if it comes across as, like apologizing for like what they didn't know before. Sometimes people don't know. They don't know the history of what people went through, so they asking like, okay, they didn't know, they are really putting forth an effort to try to make a change. But you got some people, you're on top of a lot of things. I just put it that way. You're on top of a lot of things. Some people, you can't assume people know everything. Yeah. So here we have these energies trying so hard. They get a thrill out of making people feel worthless and left out of stuff. Like, these energies like to see people get kicked out of their house. They like all of that. Like, they like to see people feel worthless. Like, what is going on? Yeah, so Source is telling you, you're taking the rose-colored glasses off. You're taking the rose-colored glasses off. Yeah. You spent a lot of time, like I said, you spent a lot of time behind closed doors, investing in, mastering something. Mastering something to try to, not for it to look back and just feel like you were being restricted, for something from people who say that they love you. So, yeah, you're on top of a lot of things. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles here. So, I feel like somebody has been, a seed has been planted, really deep in someone to restrict you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Just with them feeling worthless themselves, and something was done behind your back. It's almost like somebody's basically saying, we need you to be a plant. We need you to really go watch Cancer. Or it could be you, or it could be watching you or watching a spouse. So we need to create a lie. We need to create some kind of a lie, where you're actually restricting them, but it's really restricting the person because they don't have a life. They don't have a life. So think of it this way. Imagine if, whatever your age is, I don't know who's watching what, but imagine if, because this person was forced to lie about something, some kind of work that you do behind closed doors to restrict you in some way, shape. This was a lie. This is 7. This is some kind of lie, and you are on top of it, right? But we're going to bring the positive out of this in a second. Because 7 is, remember, you're a prayer warrior, right? And energies are trying to prey on you, but they're using somebody else to prey on you. So if it's not you, it could be a spouse that's using somebody there. If let's say you have step kids, or whatever, step kids, or bonus kids or something. Somebody would force somebody to tell a lie just so they can get behind closed doors to see what you're working on, to report back to other people, because otherwise they would have no way in to your life. For them, it's their way or the highway. But the sad thing about this is that they have been using this energy for so long to hurt you and them. This energy can't even have a life. You know the mental damage this does to a person who can't even have a life on their own because they've been lied to and said that you are the person who need to be watched. These energies, they something else. This is a spiritual group. This is a religious group of people. This is predatory energy. This is not people who are praying for people. These are people who are preying on energies. Got to get behind closed doors wherever you are. And look at this, clapping and cheering. Because something like this is this feels like home for them. They actually get excited about, this is 4 and 7 is 11. They get excited about initiating energies. There's a light and dark side to this, right? So these are karmic couples. One has to act like, oh, well, we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors, and we got to get a group of people together to make sure we got somebody to watch out. Does anybody, can we get on the phone? Can we get somebody, behind closed doors to see what's going on in there, to report back to us to see what's going on? This is sick. Make no mistake about it. This is sick. This is absolutely sick. This is basically saying somebody needs a handler, an adult who can take care of themselves, need a handler. But you're robbing this person right here of having a life themselves. Just trying to restrict somebody else by telling a lie. And then putting a team together. These people, they're a mess. That's all I can say, child. They're a big old mess. Look, this is a family. They're part of a family that's right next door to you. These are your neighbors. These are your neighbors. They sitting right outside your house, right next door, got a camera pointed right at your house. So if you single, sitting in the house praying and meditating, they sitting over there clapping and cheering with other karmic couples. With other karmic couples. Swearing up and down, there's no way you could be in there working all day long, 8 hours a day. You must be doing something evil and demonic. But this is an organization. That's why it says long game, because it's an organization that's behind it. They get a thrill out of doing this kind of stuff. 4 and 7 is like an entryway into getting off the fence. And they've taken some kind of action, and they're clapping and cheering, and they got tambourines in their hands. So this is a church. So whoever you went to church with, somebody decided to put together a team. They decided to align themselves with another spiritual group to decide, hey, we need entry into who can we use, who is familiar, to get behind closed doors to find out what's going on in there, to see what kind of work they're really working on. Who can we plant there to see what's going on. Somebody in their family. Who can we plant in their family to see what's going on? Take the rose-colored glasses off. Like I said, it's an organization. Hierophant. That's an organization. So y'all need to wake up. Somebody needs to wake up. I'm going to upload these videos early. because they've already done enough to cause you and somebody else a significant loss in your money. So they've already caused a significant loss in your money. So now, and they've already caused this energy a significant loss in their self-worth. Both speaks to second house. This is Taurus, right? Taurus rules second house. That is personal resources, money. Yeah, financial security. So they've already done something, told some kind of lie to cause you a significant loss in your money. Financial money, right? So, but they couldn't stop there. They couldn't stop there. No, because they've been doing this for years, right? If you remember. They couldn't stop there. That's too much like right. They had to make somebody else feel low as they may try to make your bank account feel. Everything for them is transactional. Everything is transactional. And these are people that you have worshipped with, that look like you. It don't matter what your skin color is. We ain't talking about skin color. These are people you worshipped with, prayed with. As soon as they're not familiar with going on in your life, they come up with some false story about how much they care. They've been praying for you. They got to get somebody behind closed doors and make sure you're all right. What is wrong with them picking up a phone and calling you and asking you? Because it's not sincere. You can mean to tell me you're going to spend all of this money on making somebody in your family feel worthless just to get behind closed doors, to find out what's going on in your house after causing you a significant drop in your money. They've done everything they could do to this one right here to restrict you. They've told every kind of lie under the sun about what kind of work you really, they think what kind of work you really do. That's why they got people posted up outside of your house. Yeah. So, I'm telling you, these energies, they something else. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. They're not if, when it happens to them. When. Because they want you to surrender to them. You've already surrendered to Source. You've already surrendered to Source. That's why you're going to continue pouring into you. That's why you're going to continue pouring into you. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're continuing to pour into you. Yep, there's nothing else you need to say to these energies. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yep. You're going to start letting people believe what they want to believe about you. They have told every lie under the sun about you. And these are, I'm telling y'all, these are people that you have called family at some point. These are people who you have called family at some point. They can either be blood relatives or family. They're part of the human race. These are people that you would have prayed for anyway, right? So, anyway. You're on top of everything. You're on top of everything. They're playing games. Again. Again. Right? So, yeah. You're letting go. Let go of negative people and toxic beliefs. Your time on earth is precious. Invest it wisely and be mindful of who you spend time with. Yep, you're on top of it. You are on top of it. So just let it be. Let it be. I'm telling y'all, these energies have smiled in your face. They have told you they're going to pray for you. You prayed for them. You didn't wish them any harm. These are just the type of energies. This is just how these energies, like I said, you can keep it as high vibrational as you want to, but take the rose-colored glasses off. You're still operating in love, no matter what. Continue operating in a spirit of love, but detach. It's time to detach. You can stay focused. So you can stay focused. So you have the power within yourself to conquer any challenge and come out stronger on the other side. Trust in your resilience and your ability to persevere. And persevere. What I'm looking at here in your cards, Cancer, is because you all are, and I'm talking to you whoever Cancer is in your birth chart, you are ruled 4th house, and this is about family, home, life, sense of security, ancestry, self-care, traditions, inner emotions, maternal figures, pets, all of those things. What I'm looking at here in your cards, these energies have already done something. They've already done something, right? They've already done something. That's why you got these two people here clapping and cheering. These are your neighbors. They've already complained about something. They already told some kind of lie. They got with an organization because they've been doing stuff behind your back. The bottom line is for you is to always keep it high vibrational. That's the bottom line. Keep it always high vibrational. They've already told some kind of lie. So, but you're an alchemist, right? You're an alchemist, right? So you know how to transform the situation. You know how to transform the situation. Because for them, it's like I said, love affair. Don't lose your mind. Beware of love affairs at work. Rarely end well. Somebody from your that you may have worked with. Somehow, somebody that you may have worked with is connected to somebody. But you're on top of something. So you may have worked with somebody that somebody may have had a relationship with. So I don't know who this is for. Somebody could have had a relationship with somebody. But if it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply. But somebody is basically saying that they were overwhelmed. They had a belief about some kind of lie that two people said about you and somebody else or whatever, and it was so overwhelming for them. It was drowning or something like that, or something happened. Somebody felt some kind of way. Anyway, you're on top of a whole lot of things. You're on top of a whole lot of things. So here we have money matters. Invest your money wisely. That's even a lie. I don't even believe somebody even had a love affair. I'm telling y'all, if you did have one, that's whatever. But I don't even believe that you had one. I don't even believe that you had one. Because somebody created something. This right here, somebody created something. I don't even believe you had a love affair at work with somebody. Somebody created something. If you had a relationship with somebody at work, they probably were not even married. If you had I'm talking about like a relationship with somebody, they probably weren't married. They were probably single. If you were single, they were probably single too. So gambling, don't risk too much. So yeah, so somebody that you may have used to work with, may have liked to play slot machines. They may have liked to gamble a lot, something around money, and they may have that mentality. They just may have that mentality. They could have gotten overwhelmed with something and said, who knows? One thing spiraled out of control over something else. Who knows? And this is somebody that you work with who is a leader. Somebody who is in a leadership position. But in order to make themselves, in order to make you feel low, they had, in order to make them improve themselves, like improve their work, they had to do tell some kind of lie, some kind of overwhelming lie about you to take you all the way down to the lowest of low. So when we're talking about water, we're talking about things around sexuality. We're talking about and we're talking about the dark side of water, like something that could have been really overwhelming. So if you was in a relationship with somebody who had a gambling problem, for instance, they they may like going to casinos, seeing different types of people, that kind of stuff. But it says you gave them something, which was probably a lie, had nothing to do with you. Probably wasn't even sleeping with somebody. So, and that this wrong decision of just being around these kind of energies, even spending time around these type of energies, could have given people the wrong impression about you. And it could have been a wrong decision to spend time around these kind of colleagues, who like to do all that kind of gambling, being around certain types of people, that you're not into that kind of thing. So, yeah. So here we have limitations. So let go of your worries. Let go of your worries. This was somebody that you work with. Somebody that you work with like going to casinos. So I don't know where y'all live. I don't know if y'all got a lot of slot machines or casinos, or if you moved or whatever, because it looks like somebody could have moved. You're talking about the Knight of Pentacles. You could have been around a place there was a lot of casinos or whatever. But you're on top of a lot of things. But if somebody that you work with is in a leadership position, this right here, was in a leadership position, told some kind of lie about you and somebody behind your back, that caused your worth to go way down, but to increase their stock. That could have been so overwhelming for somebody. The lie could have been so overwhelming for somebody that they could have been the one that needed to be, you know, heavily sedated, or maybe, you know, like, you know, maybe calmed down or something. It may have like driven them over the edge, some kind of lie about you. It had nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. But because you may have spent time around somebody. Y'all know how people go to, you know, like hang out at work or go to lunch or whatever the case may be. So somebody created something. Somebody created something. But yeah, some kind of a partnership. Prioritize your connections. Prioritize your connections. Yeah, somebody created something around something. Somebody didn't want to tell the truth about what they was really doing at these casinos, and somehow put your name in the mix of something. This is a leader that you work with. This is a leader that you work with. Decided to tear you and somebody else's reputation apart behind your back. And this is somebody that you may have had warm conversations with. Warm conversation. You could have worshipped with these people. You could have had a good time with these people. Whoever these energies are, Cancer. But like I said before, y'all just be careful, please. I'm seeing a win for you. I'm seeing a win for you. You could be at a crossroad right now, but I'm seeing a win for you. Because again, when you're at a crossroads, Source is always saying, take the high road, keep your vibrations high, but somebody now knows better. You just can't be friends with just whomever. You can't spend a whole lot of time around energies. You thinking, okay, you're just having warm fireside chats. You thinking everything is fine and cool and dandy, and they out here creating lies about you behind your back, seeing you as competition. So protect your energy as much as you can. Remain high vibrational as you can, please. Please, please, please. Remain as high vibrational as you can. Because you never know what, but this kind of stuff always comes back. That you don't have to worry about. That's why I say, that's why I always say, well, my channel, keep it high vibrational. Because it always comes back around. You have nothing to worry about as far as that's concerned. But yeah, make sure you are a magnet for harmonious, peaceful, and healed relationships. Right? 5 of Cups. Yeah. Yeah, but somebody was grieving. Something was done behind your back. You know, if somebody was grieving, you're moving on from something. And so they felt some kind of loss or some kind of grief, or they felt abandoned or unloved, or, you know, somebody took advantage of just them, just their grief pouring out. Right, here we have Queen of Pentacles. Somebody who's all about money. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, things being done behind your back. Unfortunately, things being done behind your back too often are from the people who look just like you. And that's a sad thing, because that goes right up under the radar. People who look just like you. People that you have had warm conversations with, worshiped with, smiled, laughed with, made plans with, worked with, all of that. Here's the 8 of Cups here. But you're walking away from some energies. You're leaving some karmics behind. And you're, like I said, the depth of emotion, as far as you're concerned, something is over for good. It's over. Yep, it's over. Over for good. Rose-colored glasses are off. Here's the Emperor card. Somebody felt like something was their way or the highway. Two karmics felt like something was their way or the highway. Decided to take advantage of somebody who was crying and sad or lamenting over something. You know, you trying to create something for yourself and for possibly someone who was just, you know, showing a human emotion. And these karmics took advantage of that. So it could have been like your husband or your wife, you know, who could have been like really, really trying to, they could have been transitioning through life. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like somebody could have been retiring. Somebody could have been, you know, about to move on to the next job. Like that in between time, you know, like in between one job to the next. Something could have been happening that they're moving on from one phase of their lives to the next. This is number 8. Like moving from one phase to the next. But 8 is also a karmic number. So the light side of 8, somebody was trying to stay focused. That's the light side of 8 on whatever their purpose was. Somebody was trying to stay focused. But on the other side, the dark side of 8 is that you have somebody who succumbed to passive and powerless behavior, but something was all about money for them, taking advantage of an opportunity, pulling somebody into something, because 5 is the middle number. And pull you into something. We're trying to create, trying to make some money. You want to make some money, you sad, it's going to cheer you up, pulling you into some mess. Not you, somebody else that you love, right? Because you already moved on from something, right? You already moved on. You know, you're trying to stay focused. You're trying to create something, you know, like you or your spouse or partner or whoever you are. Maybe you're trying to create space for a new job or something you're trying to create space for. Idle time, devil workshop, right? Then you got the other one, egotistical, materialistic, and forceful. So you got a bully and somebody who's being bullied. Two energies against one or whoever, piling up on somebody who is just grieving. You trying to stay focused, no support whatsoever. So it could have been you or your spouse or your partner. Either you or your spouse or partner got no support from so-called family members that you spend a lot of time around. You've invested a lot of time in, and you on top of all of it. You on top of all of it. So no, you coming through cutting people off. A new partnership and job, love is near for somebody. New everything is near for you. You on top of all of it. You're on top of all of it. And this right here is the reason why you have some people. I'm telling you, I said this on another channel. There's a podcast that comes on. I can't think of the name of the podcast. If I can think of it, I may attach the link to my videos to help somebody see. But they have a lot of really good podcasts for people who are like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Whatever it is you're trying to create. This is why you hear a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people who, whether you're entrepreneur while you're still working your regular job or just, you know, straight entrepreneur, whatever, that you have to, in order for you to, you have to stay focused. You have to stay focused behind closed doors. Anybody that feels like they left out, they were all familiar with you, hanging out with them all the time and talking on the phone every single day. If you got to tell somebody every 5 minutes what you're doing, and you already told somebody, hey, you're working on something, and they take that idle time to let the devil play tricks on their mind and go and create something, create chaos and confusion in your life where you're trying to help, you're trying to build something to help people that you prayed with and prayed for. Source is saying, and it may not even be direct. Remember, everybody operating in their north node is actually a blessing to the whole planet, right? Source is saying to you, yeah. These energies did something behind your back. Either behind your back or your spouse's back, to make sure they gain access to your life, to find out what's going on in your life every single day. So if it's your spouse, somebody lied and said that you're doing something to your spouse, and they need to have somebody ears and eyes behind closed doors to make sure you ain't doing something to your spouse, but you're on top of something. This wheel right here, what goes around comes around. So, yeah, so When I look at this, you already know who's responsible. You know the four energies that's responsible for it. They all clapping and cheering because they feel like they've accomplished something. They align themselves with a church, or another spiritual organization to get something done. And guess what? If you're on social media, they got their people watching you on social media, just sitting there looking like the little cat that's on the wall, the little clock, the little clock, where the eyes be going back and forth on the wall with the tail wagging, looking back and forth like, yeah, I wonder if they know. Yeah, of course, of course, people know. People been dealing with this mess for years. That's how they learn how to save themselves. They've been dealing with that mess for years. That is why rose-colored glasses come off of people's faces. This is why the scales be removed from people's eyes, and this is why people can keep their vibrations high, because this has been happening for years. This is how people learn how to save themselves. That's why what goes around comes around. The very energies that could be watching y'all on social media. If you got a social media platform and the energies do this to you, it's going to happen to them. You can best believe it's going to happen to them. They'll sit back all day long. Oh, that's never going to happen to me. I got family all around me. That would never happen. Okay. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. You never know how it's going to happen. Never know how it's going to happen. You don't know when or how it's going to happen. When people are trying to operate in North Node, it helps the entire planet. Source gave each one of us a purpose here on planet Earth. So it's time for you to take action. It's time for you to stop sitting there holding on to these energies, these sweetheart, because you're still a sweetheart, but it's time for you to take action. It's time to take action for real. Time for you to take action. These energies have been looking for a fight for a long time, and you are not put your dukes up, roll around in a dirt fight. That's them. Low vibrational, acting like a teenager. No, you're a prayer warrior. You are a prayer warrior. These energies say it out their mouth, but they say it out of their mouth, but they still holding on to something. It's like God is not moving fast enough for them. So refrain. So this is happening for me, not to me. I'm telling y'all going to see how something is actually happening for you and it's not happening to you. Watch. All I can tell y'all is what the enemy went for evil. ... You read the rest of it. It's Genesis 50:20. What the enemy meant for evil. These energies, they be doing the most out here. I don't care how many friends you have. I don't care how many organizations you belong to. The moment certain spirit, these are certain spirits. I'm telling y'all, the moment certain spirits are not familiar with what you're doing every moment of the day, they go to work. They pride themselves in doing this kind of stuff. But when you needed these energies to check on you on a regular basis, to invest in your education, to invest in your business, to invest in you, all you heard were crickets. That's all you heard was crickets. That's all you heard were crickets. That's why I know somebody didn't do something to deserve this right here, this Five of Pentacles. Somebody, you didn't do this. I already pick up on the energy. Somebody did not do this to deserve this at all. This right here is a result of you knowing your worth and knowing your value. This right here. Everybody at some point has had a pick-me spirit. That is the whole human race. That's everybody. You wanted to be picked to go to some university or college or trade school, or you wanted to get picked to go into some kind of maybe a high school, or in some parts of the world you have to live in a particular neighborhood to go to a particular zone school or whatever it's called. Everybody has wanted to be picked for something. Everybody. That's the whole entire human race. But when energies create something, I'm talking about create a problem. to make people feel worthless and then say, oh, let me help you after they've created the problem. And you're well aware of it and you try to keep your distance, then you're the one that has an attitude problem. Look, okay, listen. I keep trying to tell y'all, listen, scales. That's how some people learn how to close out cycles in love. I'm telling y'all, that's how some people close out cycles in love. That's how some people are able to get some rest. That's how you're able to get some rest. You're able to get some rest. You're able to get some rest. These energies have worked over. When I say spent a lot of time, they've invested a lot of time and money into this. Meaning that they have been in contact with some of you all's mental health professionals, broken into some of you all's medical records. I'm serious. Because these are the connections these energies have. Your medical records, your family members, all of this. And don't even care about this energy right here, not even having a life for themselves. Just to get to you. Lord have mercy. Child, let me go ahead and close out this reading. Let me close out this read, because what in the world is going on for real? All to see you restricted. Wouldn't even sprinkle water on you if they saw you on fire. But all of a sudden, all this help, like now you need all this, you want to invest all of this. Anyway, keep your vibrations high. You're on top of everything. You're on top of everything. You are not overwhelmed. You know exactly who's behind what. You know exactly who's behind what. These are family members aligning themselves with an organization, and they're aligning themselves. If you were ever married or divorced or whatever, they're aligning themselves with the other side of the family. It's misery loves company. Anybody who's your opposition, that is anybody, a church, a mosque, a temple, anybody who is your opposition, and will say you're a narcissist because you're the one who's putting all the attention on you. A narcissist, when this has been going on for years, this is why you got so much money in the cards. This is time. This is time invested in this. You're a narcissist. Listen, where's the card? Yeah, this is a lot of time and investment. Somebody invested a lot of time in you or your spouse. Yeah, you on top of some stuff. Listen, look at this right here. This death card. These energies did not expect for you to be here. This is an obsession. So who is really the narcissist? Listen, this is an obsession. These energies are obsessed with you. They didn't think you was going to be here. So they keep trying to cause towers in your life. They keep trying to cause towers in your life. So you think it's just by coincidence that you got bad luck. These energies are investing this. Yeah, okay. Take the rose-colored glasses off. This is the perfect month to do it. We're in April. This is the scales are balanced. Balance out your internal scales. Be at peace. I'm telling y'all. The polarity sign to Libra is Aries, right? The Aries rules first. How we're not talking about any Aries that you know, nor are we talking about any Libras that you know. When I say signs, I'm talking about the houses as well. First house is about personality, temperament, appearance, self-image, first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life, right? These energies see how you invest in yourself. They see how other people hold you in high regard. They tell other people this lie. Oh, this person looks like they just, things are not looking good for them. I noticed that, their hair looks disheveled. They don't really look like themselves. They look like they gained a lot of weight or lost a lot of weight. They're not taking care of themselves. I don't know what kind of work they doing. I think I heard this and I heard that. All somebody has to do is ask. If you read cards, you're not ashamed to tell people you read cards. I hope not. I hope not. Not in this day and time. They got tarot books in the grocery stores. Look how many tarot channels on YouTube. I hope not. And then you got seventh house. Seventh house would be like marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, and also enemies. So it will expose people who have not resolved something within themselves, and somehow they project that onto you, how much time and energy they put onto that. So Somebody has definitely, two people have put forth an effort to end a business contract with you all. So that could have been a lease for you all. So look online and see if your lease is ended without your consent. Some energies that put a lot of energy into that, a lot of energy into lying behind your back, right? So you got a new partnership in love or a new partnership in job coming across your path, but something has ended. But these energies keep trying to cause you to have these tower moments for you to not know where these towers are coming from, to make it seem like you can't keep a job, you keep moving from place to place when they're the ones who's invested all this time and energy into it. It's not, I'm telling y'all, it's not you. If you live in an apartment or you're subletting from somebody, or you're, renting someone's basement or attic or whatever the case may be, and you know that you did not give somebody power of attorney to say yes or no, to make any decisions for you, and somehow it's freshly listed somewhere, it's these energies again. It's these energies again. See, technology is different now. It's different now. So many years ago, you may not have figured it out, but today you would have figured it out. The things are happening for you. Sources helping you with something. Sources helping you with something. But there's some people you need to cut off for life. This need to be the end of it. Something needs to be the end. You need to cut off some people for life. They have taken some things way too far. They get too happy and thrilled with trying to see you miserable. They like to see tears rolling down yours or your partner's or husband or wife's face. They love all of that. They like to see you house being foreclosed on, car being repossessed, you getting fired from a job. These are y'all listen. I'm looking at this card right here. People got tambourines in their hands under a tent, having a good old time with this. Like I said, keep your vibrations high. Scales from your eyes have been removed. You see things for what it really, really is. You see it for what it really is. That is what I have for you all. That is what I have for you all. And hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is helpful. But yeah, the rose-colored glasses are off of your face. They should be off of your face. If these are in-laws or whatever, from now on, like I said before, you're protecting your energy. You're protecting your energy in love. You send in prayers, but you're protecting your energy. Because somebody has just done way too much. They have just done too much. So that's what I have for you. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.